What's up, guys? Nostal-Gi-Oh here, back with some more Master Duel content. And today we have my friend here, Dan, better known as Sinful P on Twitch and stuff. Of course, links are going to be in the description down below. So go, show some love to his channel. He's going to do some Master Duel streaming and stuff. So if you're into that, go check him out. And yeah, we're going to get into this deck profile here. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. And if you shop on TCG Player, don't forget to use my TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you any extra, and it really supports the channel. Anyway, intros aside, go ahead, Dan, talk about your deck.
All right, well, this is Sky Striker. I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I kind of fell out when Links came in. And then when they added Links to Legacy of the Duelist, I got into Sky Strikers because it seemed fun, and it's a waifu deck, as I
That
as
it
I like
is.
to play the waifu decks. Um, so this was my first experience getting really competitively into Yu-Gi-Oh after Links got added. So this turned out really well with the help of some friends.
And it made it
I
to
liked it a lot.
plat one, so definitely shows it's a very solid list.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's been a lot of fun
And it
playing
ain't
Master
no
Duels.
broke boy list either. We see them upstarts and stuff. Hey,
Yeah, I might have spent some money. I might have been one of those people.
it happens. It happens.
But all right, first we got the hand traps. We got three effect veiler. This is mostly because hand traps are good, of course, and um, I want to make sure I always have an effect veiler in the deck to grab with Fibrax if I don't have one in the graveyard already for Celine the Link Climb play.
Right. It's
And
a
then three
really
Max
important
C.
thing in here in this deck.
Yeah, three Max C because Max C Max C at three basically defines Master Duel's identity, so
It really
it's a pretty
does.
big deal. And then three Ash Blossom, the counter to Max C, among
Hmm.
many other things.
Very good
And then for
card.
the Sky Strikers, we got three Ray and two Rose.
Why
Um,
only the two rows? You don't like the max on both three? Both of three? Too clunky?
uh, yeah, it was too clunky. As
Makes
long as I
sense.
see a monster on like the first two turns, it's just fine. So, three Ray because Ray's really good.
That card's
Ray is
broken.
kind of ridiculous. Yeah, it doesn't need to exist, but it does. And then Rose. Rose is really a niche card, but you need it for those link plays sometimes.
Yeah.
And it also helps with link climbing. If you know what you're gonna do that turn, you can drop Rose on the board with its effect from the field or the grave in a couple different ways, or from the hand or the grave in a couple different ways.
Free body. It's pretty good. It makes Zeke and then you go into play, so it's pretty solid for that as well.
Hmm. And then we got Harvey's Feather Duster and Reborn, kind of self-explanatory. They're just really good cards.
Yeah. Best of
Triple
one
Upstart. Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, these cards. I mean, Harvey's Feather Duster, of course, has relevancy, but I'm surprised Monster Reborn is still as good as it's always been.
Yeah, it's interesting to see it in this deck. I don't see it like super frequently, but it's really insane in the mirror match too for like Kagari and stuff.
Oh yeah, Gank and Kagari is really good,
That stuff's crazy.
and it also helps for Sky Strikers has trouble OTKing, so it,
Hmm.
it helps with that.
Yeah,
Um,
I could believe that.
Upstart is probably one of the best spells for this deck, especially at three, because giving your opponent 1,000 life points, it hurts the OTK, but it allows you to put a free spell in the graveyard and get to three. So if you open with engage and some spells, it really helps you get there. And then
It's
Upstart is
really
just
strong.
a good card. Not all decks can really justify playing Upstart Goblin in this meta, I think, but Sky Strikers is definitely one that wants to play three.
Probably the most relevant deck for triple upstart, I would say.
Oh yeah, like no other decks really want you to have spells in the grave. Just throw them in there. So
Right.
it's really good to see it as soon as possible. Rhoda obviously grabs Ray and grabs Rose. Terraforming grabs the Sky Striker field spell. Really good card. But Terraforming is just a really good card in general.
Puts another spell in grave too, so it never
Uh,
hurts.
then we got the double engage. The one of the other problems with this game's ban list, as far as I'm concerned, is two engage.
It's the cream of the
Uh,
crop.
This card shouldn't exist. Just let me search my deck for any card and then draw one. I think it's better than like Pot of Greed because you get to grab any card you want and then just a draw on top of it.
Yeah, it's
That might be a
insane.
bad take.
I
Better than Pot of
I
Greed might be a bad take.
it's that's like a questionable take for sure because every deck in the world can play Pot of Greed, but as far as this deck goes, like if you can draw a card, Pot of Greed gives you two mystery cards. This gives you one mystery card and whatever card you need. So it's like it's cracked.
It just lets you search out your entire deck.
Yeah,
So it's really really good. Shouldn't exist, but it does.
Engage
And
is
it's not
pretty
even a hard
stupid.
once per turn.
Yeah, I know. Like the fact that like people just like drop three of these in one turn like consistently, it's pretty stupid.
And then we got one Sky Striker maneuver Afterburner and one Sky Striker maneuver Jamming Waves. Some people like to play more than one of each of these, but I like it just because it's a name, and there's tons of ways to get it back if you need it, like with Kagari and with multi-roll. So
Mm-hmm.
I think one is good. One has served me pretty well of each of these.
1-1 seems like a good line. I see a lot of people playing like two afterburners and stuff, but 1-1 seems fine.
It works for me, so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of just what I've been going with. Then we got three Airspace. This field spell is extremely powerful.
It's really
You
cool, like to go into Ray and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can summon Ray and then target it with uh, airspace, and then use Ray to send it away and get a link summon out of it. So
Right, you get
it
a free
lets you
guy.
effectively +1, yeah. And then there's other times where you can just if you're missing a monster, you can set like Afterburner or Jamming Waves if they're not helping you, or Shark Cannon if it's not helping you, or even Forbidden Droplets if it's not helping you,
Mm-hmm.
and send it away, and then get that card that you need to play the turn.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very strong
Um,
card.
and then it's also really good because if you send it away with like multi-roll or with with like Afterburner, you pop their monster, and then you pop the airspace. It lets you grab Ray or Rose from the deck, so you can
Mm-hmm.
link play that turn,
It helps
and then
you
double
get into
multi-roll.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
airspace is juice.
honestly like the multi roll is the why only two? Like you can play three. Was it just clunking too much? I mean, I typically see three multi roll in the deck, so it only seems
That's what
just
I've
questionable.
that's what I've seen a lot of people run as three.
Mm-hmm.
I originally ran just one, and that was on the Legacy of the Duelist.
Uh huh.
The that I don't know if it was that one in that game or if the list that my friend helped me was just running one. But you only ever really need one because like you can get it back if you need to.
Right.
Um, the only reason I could really see wanting to run more than one is so that you see it quicker. But there are those cases, of course, where it'll get blown up and then you search another one from the deck. But multi-roll it's like people aren't really going to go after it with card effects as often as like set cards and monsters. So I feel like even one is okay, but two is consistent enough that I'll see it and I can make use out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I kind of like two. I never really
That's
had a
fair.
problem playing more than two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's at one in current TCG, so it's interesting to see it at three and not being played at three. But you have sound reasoning, so.
Yeah, some people definitely like it at three, but I think it's okay at two. You
Mm-hmm.
got to you got to make some cuts. If you want to play 40 cards, you gotta
Yeah,
you
for
gotta make
sure.
some cuts.
Especially playing like the max hand trap line. I see a lot of people like cutting down some. Like I see two Veilers usually the standard, and you're playing the three. But I honestly I like the triple Veiler because like we were saying, you have to have one in the deck for the combo. So yeah, max out on it makes sense.
Then we got two Call by the Grave. This card is crazy.
Called
I
by is
love this card
insane.
so much. It lets you just stop the maxi so that you can, go all in and not have to worry about it. It lets you stop the Ash that's trying to stop your maxi. Lets you
Yeah,
stop Eldritch. It's just a really good card.
it's
One of
really
my
good.
favorite spells
And
ever.
and even when you're not using it like proactively by like removing a hand trap or something, it can still be like a solid trap. And like you were saying with Eldritch, it's really good. But then you also have like even the mirror match and hitting Rays. It's just fantastic. So love that card.
Yeah, I've had tons of grinds with the Sky Striker mirror match where we just hit each other's rays, and it's like, wow, this is a fun game.
Yeah, I don't think I would play a deck in Master Duel without the two called by in it, honestly.
It's just such a good card. I can't really see a deck without two called by, you know.
Hmm.
Then we got the one Hornet drones. I call it Hornets because I'm an idiot, but it's Hornet drones.
Yeah.
This card is I never really understood why this card was that one beyond like link climbing. I guess I kind of get it.
I
But
think it was
it's a good
mainly.
card.
I think it was mainly hit like back in the days for like the Orcust deck as well. Like there was the Sky Striker Orcust deck. I don't know if I don't know the best of like the Sky Striker lore, like when stuff got hit and why it got hit, but Hornet Drones was always one that was kind of weird to me too. And then I just like splashed into Orcust and I was like, okay, it makes a little more sense now. But it is weird to see it at one, to be honest, because it's the only card that's like hit in the Sky Striker list that like makes little sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I'm pretty clueless on competitive lore as well. I have very little experience outside of Legacy Duelist and Master Duel, so
Yeah. And Duel Links.
uh, and Duel Links, but that's a whole different
That's
beast.
its whole different thing, yeah, for sure.
My favorite part about this card is that the effect that has if you have three more spells just makes the token have 1500
Yeah, it
attack
becomes
and
Ray.
defense. It's the most irrelevant effect for spell strikers for like the three or more spells part.
Right, everything else
It
gives
does
you like
nothing.
added value. This just gives you a 1500 beater.
You can't even put it in attack, so it's like
Oh
I
yeah, it
feel
just
like
summons in defense. I guess you could like
yeah
end phase, right? You know, and then just like turn it to
yeah
attack and like go for game. But yeah, it's certainly weird.
I feel like they decided that creating a free monster to link with was good enough that they were like, what do we give this spell as its 3+ effect? Something really bad.
Yeah, imagine his 3+ was summon a second one.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. Just
That'd
be
be
half of
really
a
fun to screw
scapegoats.
around with. Yeah. And then we got the two Widow Anchor, probably the second best spell in the deck. I mean,
Widow Anchor is
multi-roll.
insane.
Multi-roll is probably second, but this is a close third,
It's the
close
best
second, close third.
trappy one, you know, the best one that is like an like not
Responds to
just like
opponent's cards.
activate. Yeah, a response.
Yeah, really good card. It negates the monsters. Obviously, that's its main point. But then you can steal stuff if you're trying to go for game that turn, or
Hmm.
you can steal stuff to use for your own link climbs and etc. And then playing it on opponent's turn, and then end of their turn, you resolve multi-roll and get it back. Like it's such a good card.
It's
It
insanely
probably should be at
powerful.
one. And then we got one Eagle Booster. This is one of my favorites just because I like setting it when I have access code out and being like, come at me. It's such a cool card. I love it. I feel like the effects should be reversed. Like immunity to card effects should be 3+, and destruction should be 1.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Just the fact that it can protect any monster, even your opponent's monsters, if you have some kind of reason to. It's just such a niche card that is really good in certain situations.
Hmm.
And then Shark Cannon, basically an additional Call by the Grave, except for not quite as good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
another card that I'm kind of surprised to see only at one in the list. Like, I see a lot of people playing two. It's really good in the mirror match. It's really good against like honestly just most decks in general. And it's another one that can like summon the monster and then like help you go for game or or link climb or anything.
well, you can't go for game with it because the monster can't attack. I think.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but it can't attack.
oh, it can't attack. Okay. Well, it still
Hmm.
lets you climb.
Yeah, like that's the biggest point of it is to in the mirror match you take their Kagri
Hmm.
or in basically any other match you use it to link climb and stuff. So the reason I have it at one is just because I have pretty much all the spells at one other than Widow's Anchor and multi-roll and engage for obvious reasons. Just because multi-roll can just get them back when I need them.
Right. They're searchable and
And then
recyclable, so it makes sense.
Hayate can dump them if I need them like right away. Hayate can dump and then I can grab them on the end phase or something, you know.
Hmm.
But I did play two at one point, but it just didn't feel right. So I pretty much try to play one of the niche ones
Fair
that
enough. That
only
makes sense.
have like rare uses compared to the ones that are just always broken.
Hmm.
And then we got the three forbidden droplets, a card that should not exist.
Yeah, card's insane. I'm seeing that in the TCG again. Like it, you know, every time I jump back into the TCG, it feels like I need triple droplets, and it's a lot. The card's insane though.
Would you say it's the most expensive staple? I feel like it is.
Yeah, it's the most expensive staple for now. Well, actually, right now, like Prosperity is more expensive, but Droplets is more. Like Prosperity doesn't fit into every deck. Every deck should be playing Droplets.
I'm kind of ignorant on what prosperity is.
Yeah, it's sitting there. Like I think it's close to 150 right now. It's insane.
That's a lot. Yu-Gi-Oh got really expensive.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean Yu-Gi-Oh's been expensive, but yeah, that's it's. I mean that's just one of the evils of Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But Forbidden Droplets is a it's a really good card. The only feels bad about playing it in here is that I don't play any traps, so I can't just deny my opponent's response to it via sending a trap card.
Yeah, that is
So
really unfortunate because a lot of like the VFD Chuchi setups in Virtual World, they can set it up so that even if you droplets, if you don't set a trap, they can just pop it with Chuchi and then chain to
right,
that.
or they can solemn it, and a lot of other decks that play
Yeah, a lot
solemn.
of
It's
people could
just
just Judgment, but like most like combo decks don't play Judgment, so like it's probably fine. Like most boards that you're like doing droplets to, that are playing Judgment, they're like you know Eldritch cards and stuff, so it's not like too big of a
right.
problem.
And I guess now the extra deck, one Kaguri, or I mean three Kaguri. I
Yeah,
wish it was
right.
three Kaguri. Like
It's
the
a three
TCG has three Kaguri.
TCG. Yeah, we only have one
hmm
engage though, and one multi roll.
Yeah, I did see that when I was trying to figure out how to bring this deck over to the TCG as well as possible. So
Hmm.
I like Kaguri at three and Engage at one. It still feels pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely really good. It's still a very very strong deck in the TCG as well.
I want to say it's probably one of the best decks in Master Duels.
Yeah, it's very strong. I think on my tier list the other day I put it in tier 1.5, which is only marginally less frequently seen than tier one.
It's definitely my favorite. Like I haven't experienced a single like really bad matchup other than like Eldritch, but Eldritch is kind of like anti-meta in a way, so like every deck has some sort of bad card interactions with that deck, so
I
I don't
mean
know if
triple
that really
skill
counts as a
drain,
bad matchup. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Imperial
skill
Order,
drain's
that
scary.
card slaps me.
Oh, order sucks. That card just got banned though in TCG. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
Anti-Spell Fragrance is another card I've seen some of Eldritch players play that really sucks to get flipped on.
you've seen that in Master Duel?
Yeah,
Oh, huh. I haven't really
Anti-Spell
seen that
Fragrance.
much. That's like not really a bow one card. You don't really see that very frequently in best of one.
Right. It worked really good against me the couple times that I've
Yeah,
seen it though, playing through plat.
right. I mean, I
I
would
just
imagine flipping that card against Sky Striker. It's very very powerful.
Yeah, I just kind of sit there for like several turns until I have a play, and that play can never come from my draw.
Hmm.
Anyway, we got three Shizuku
Yeah,
because Shizuku is obviously really good.
card's insane.
You always end on Shizuku, and when your opponent runs over your Sky Striker, you bring out Ray, and then end phase you tribute Ray for Shizuku, and you grab another card.
Hmm.
Two Hayate, mostly just because the dump effect, but attacking directly has won me plenty of games where
Hmm.
they'll set up an unbreakable board when they're at real low life, and I just poke.
It helps a lot early game too, because getting that damage, like if you can get resolve like two Hayates or like a Hayate and like another swing, then you're right into the access code range with the 53. So it's like really really good to get those pokes early.
Right, and it also lets you get extra spells in the grave if your hand's kind of sluggish and you don't have the three spells to play the engage and you want to get like the most out of the engage. Hayate really helps. You just dump like one of your three copies of the field card or one of the other cards that you want to put face down with multi-roll in the end phase, and that
Hmm.
just gives you a third spell for the main phase too.
Yeah, it's one of the weird links that are really good. Like everybody knows the main two that are insane, Kagari Shizuku, but like Hayate still puts in a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, kind of is definitely the 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 lonely child of
Yeah.
the Sky Strikers, but kind of still has some use if
Oh
your
yeah, for
opponent
sure.
is if your opponent's got too many attacks on their turn and they're gonna run over your Link and then try to run over Ray, you can just kind of and stop that attack and maybe get away with your uh your board for the turn.
Mhm.
Like you can stop one additional attack, and maybe that's going to be enough to keep your Link out without having to do another setup on the next turn.
And it just buys you a turn sometimes, so it's very good.
Yeah, the gaining 100 life points when card effects resolve it feels irrelevant, but I've had games where I lost down to the exact 100 life points. So if I resolved kind of like once or twice before that, I wouldn't have lost in those situations. So it feels irrelevant, but I guess it could be relevant.
Yeah, it definitely could. And for like TCG, it comes up for time cuz
Oh yeah,
TCG
true.
time sucks.
Yeah, the time rolls are not great in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, they are really dumb. So I noticed you cut down the Hayate and the Kaina to two. I think a lot of people played two Kaina, but I think most people play like three of the Hayate and like two Zeke. But I see you're playing like a lot of the Charmers instead. Are they good? Like how frequently do you use non Hita? Like are all of them? Do you do it a lot?
Yeah, they're all really, really good. Cutting Hayate to two didn't feel great. Like you said, kind of it's kind of irrelevant, but Hayate 2 doesn't feel great, but it's the Charmers are really important in my opinion.
Hmm.
I like them a lot.
Was the
Uh,
other cut the Zeke from two to one to for another Charmer, or were you only ever playing one Zeke?
I was only ever playing one. I brought this list over from Legacy of the Duelist and just
Gotcha.
adjusted it to fit the meta accordingly, and
Hmm.
I just never saw a reason to play more than one Zeke.
Fair
So
enough.
we got the Christron. I don't know
Crystron.
how to pronounce that. Hauki Fibrax. This
Yeah, we
card,
all just call him Hauki out
everyone
here. Hauki. Hauk.
everyone know what this card do. A
That
good
card's
card.
insane.
Uh, Obviously its sole purpose is to go into Selene into access code, pretty
Hmm.
much.
It's insanely good
Um,
combo.
but now the Charmers. We got Hita, Ausa, and Lina, the fire, earth, and light Charmers. They're really good because in order to make Hauki, you have to have a tuner in the hand, right? You have to have a tuner in the hand, and you have to have your normal summon available to really reasonably go into to Hauki, right? Because how is she going to get a tuner on the board?
Right.
But if you don't have one in hand, like say I discarded Effect Veiler on my opponent's previous turn, and I don't have a tuner in my hand now, and I want to go into access code, like with minimal resources, what you can do is, uh, instead of going, instead of going into Hauk, you can go into a Charmer. Like with Hita, you use Kaguri, obviously. With Alsa, you use Kaina, and with Lina, you use Rose.
Hmm.
So you go into one of these and you steal something from the opponent's grave. So like, I guess with Hita, it'd be like Ash Blossom.
Right. Ash or like the
Um,
Veiler.
hmm With Alsa, you take Maxi, and Lina, you take the Veiler. So since these are spellcasters, you link two to play these, and you grab a card from your opponent's grave, and then you link three into Selene because it's two monsters, including a spellcaster.
Hmm.
And then in that hypothetical I presented where I discarded Valor on my previous turn, I didn't have one to summon from hand to make Hauk, so I made a Charmer and then made Selene and then grabbed the Valor I previously discarded.
Right.
And
That
then
way
go
you
into
get to go
access
full
code,
combo
obviously.
off of really just anything. I like it.
Right. I've won plenty of games with the Charmers. I just think they're really good. A lot of people would disagree. They might change the extra deck around, and that's up to them. But I've won a lot of games by going in access code without being able to get there with Hauk. So
Hmm.
they work really well. And then there's some situations where my board is just not cutting it. Like they Harpy's Feather Dusted me, or they just had the right outs to prevent me from having like access to good spells for like that turn for like the upcoming turn. So I'll just end on playing one of the Charmers and taking uh like an Omni Negate from their grave from their archetype.
Hmm.
So there's that. They're just really good in my opinion. I
Yeah,
I, I
I
like
like
them
it.
a lot.
We always see Hita, so seeing the other ones is pretty cool. And Alsa, that one really gets additional usage here because every single deck plays Max C. So it's really
Right.
cool. Because that's something we don't see in the TCG. The Max C is still banned. Free the C. Hashtag free the C. But
Free to see.
yeah, but it is really cool seeing them all in here. The Lina I didn't even really think about because that guy's kind of new. So like I didn't even really remember that we have the light one. I don't even know if we have a dark one still. I think we're missing the dark one. I'm not sure.
The OCG just got dark.
Okay, so we'll get that soon enough.
I think it's like DHARC, really weird
Yeah,
spelling
it
of
is
dark, but
weird.
it's kind of gooby.
Yeah, it's like it's just the same as the old familiar possessed cards, and
Right.
now they're, links. Makes sense. Anyway, do you have any closing thoughts about the deck? Anything you'd change moving forward? Anything you didn't like about your list, or anything you really liked about your list?
Uh, well, I really liked winning, so
Fair enough.
uh, I don't really. I'm not super. Excuse me. I'm not super experienced with the competitive play, so I don't really. I don't really know what is best. I just kind of looked at the meta, looked at my build, and after each win or loss, I would take note of things that I thought were good or not good, and I would change it. And this is ultimately what I came up with. I was losing a lot of time in Platinum 5 as I was figuring out the how to play the meta properly, but then after I figured it out, and this was the final build I made, and then I just went from Plat 5 to Platinum 1 pretty seamlessly with
You said you
back.
had like one loss in the from 5 to 1, right?
Right. Like
Yeah,
I
that's like
lost
a
a lot of
really good
games.
climb.
I lost a lot of games at 5, so I was effectively at like a 0 win ratio kind of thing, since you get
Hmm.
set back. And then the final change I made was adding the 3 droplets, and once I did that, I won every game except for one, going from Plat 5 to Plat 1.
Yeah, that's an exceptional run.
So I guess the only thing I would really consider changing is maybe another afterburner, because uh, popping monsters and then maybe an additional spell trap pop is really good.
Hmm.
Um, Shark Cannon could be good at 2 for like just the mirror match. I don't really see too much of a need for it outside of the mirror match, but
Hmm.
it's definitely reasonable to want to play more than one. Maybe third multi-role, but I really like 2. I think 2 is fine.
Gotcha. And then
But
I have
beyond that, that's good.
I just have one more question. Overall, so like when we get the DPE engine, the Fusion Destiny and stuff like that, Master Duel players might not know what I'm talking about if they don't play that, but if they don't play TCG, but it's just the engine, what I'm talking about. Would you cut what would you cut for that engine? I mean, unless you like don't think you'd play it, but I think most people would play it.
I've I've tried it on online to with the TCG ban list. I've tried it and I didn't love it, but I understand why it's so good. So I'm still trying to figure out just like how well to make it work in the Sky Striker engine.
Hmm.
Um, so it was a lot easier online because I didn't have 3 maxi, so that was an
Right.
automatic like -3 and only one multi-roll and one engage. So it was way easier to make room for that 5 card core. So I really don't know what I would change. It would probably be like one Veiler, maybe go back to one multi-roll if I was feeling bold.
Hmm.
Uh, if there was side deck, I could justify playing like 2 droplets, but since there's no side deck in this game right now, it's like I can't really let it go.
I know what you mean.
Um, it's rough. Obviously, the extra deck would be pretty easy. I'd probably take out Lina
Uh-huh.
for the Phoenix Enforcer just because um, Alsa and Hita I can use with extra deck monsters,
Right. So
whereas
it makes it a lot
Lina,
easier.
yeah, Lina I need Rose in order to go
Hmm.
into Lina. So that'd be the cut there. Um, and then I guess I'd have to make another cut for like Verte, probably like one kinda. I
Hmm.
don't know, but it'd be tough. It'd be tough making room for the 5 card core in the main deck and the 2 card core in the side deck or in the extra
Gotcha.
deck. But
I guess
you
we'll
got to
worry
make it
about
happen
that.
if you want to play them.
We'll worry about that when the problem arises, right?
Yep, you have to test it to figure out how well it works and what you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll end the video here. We're at like 30 minutes, which is pretty long for the video. So, uh, but yeah, guys, definitely go. Show some love on Sinful P's channel on his Twitch. Uh, description link in the description. As always. Anyway, that is gonna be it for the video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. And have a good week. Goodbye.